made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 325 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Michael Hogan, and this conversation is based on, is your mind information overweight or information undernourished? Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today I have Michael Hogan with me. He's coming out of beautiful Waynesville, North Carolina, and I'm coming out of Grand Junction, which is the western slope of Colorado, which is over here where no one else lives until COVID happened. And now everybody's moving everywhere. So Dr.
Same
Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, it's been a while. We go back a long ways from you being a chiropractic student.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, we were bartenders together at the Redstone Room.
Right. You know,
Redstone.
We go back in time a little
Redstone.
bit. Yeah, the Redstone Room. Yep, you got it. Before we get into this conversation today, I just want to let people know the ground rules of why Chiro Hustle does what we do. And it's very simple. We protect free speech in chiropractic. We support subluxation-based chiropractors, and we protect the sacred trust. If you don't know what any of that stuff means, go get your Google out and go look at Sacred Trust Chiropractic, free speech, if that matters to you. He's got a green book right there. And yeah, the science of chiropractic, right into Michael Hogan's hands. And we the science of chiropractic, in case people wanted to follow the science, right?
That's where it's at. Maybe that is where it's at.
So Michael, good to see you, man.
Great to see you, man. I love hanging out with you. It's amazing to see you evolve over the years from my friend / help guide me through school during the rough times and help me through the good times. And then you've been hustling for so long. Has any of the schools approached you about making you an honorary doctor yet?
No, Sherman, I became here. I'll just let you guys know. I became a regent at Sherman.
Oh, good man.
So I've been giving money, tithing to college because
Wow.
I believe that the center of the universe with chiropractic is out there in Sparkle City. But me being a Davenport kid, I grew up in Iowa,
Right.
as you know, that's where Palmer is. And
Right.
I still support
Right.
Palmer. I do a lot of behind the scenes work with the rugby squad over there. So
That's cool.
I support two schools
Cool.
in the major scene, but I still think there's a lot to be done with connecting with other institutions. And I still feel like I just got started, man.
Yeah, that's great, man. You're just beginning. Well, El Presidente, Ed Cordero.
Yeah.
He's obviously a great man. And he's always, like, knowing him from before he was a president of a school and just like working as a chiropractor, in the street, in the streets as a chiropractor. And he was just always so inspirational. And I would see him at Fred Schofield trainings. So he was always dipping himself. And then he was big with DE as well. So I think that's great. You support them and you're a regent there, man. That's so cool.
Well, yeah. I don't look forward to anybody doing anything for me. I feel like, it's what can I do? I think it's a JFK quote, like, think not what chiropractic can do for you, but what can you do for chiropractic? I think that if we thought about what that means to us as a profession, it would be a way stronger profession where people would just be actually giving for the sake of giving, serving for the sake of serving, and loving for the sake of loving. Like, that's what this profession would be more of if we just did what we could for the profession, not what it can do for us.
Yeah. Well, JFK was a bold man, and so are you. And you got to learn to love to serve, as Dr. Fred Schofield likes to say.
Yeah,
and
man.
that's the process. It's an every day you wake up, it's you learning to love to serve, and then success follows you.
Amen.
Like when you come out from your heart serving, success will follow.
Yeah, and I want to go back to something you said there. You said Fred Schofield a couple times in the early segment of this interview.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your origin story and
Okay.
how you became the chiropractor.
Yeah.
How did Michael Hogan finish chiropractic school back in 2009? And what was the impetus for that bridge to be built?
Oh man, it was such a journey for me. My parents were into medicine. My dad's a medical doctor. My mom's a nurse. I always like to say I was in and out of hospitals growing up, really because they worked there all the time, and they would have conversations about the politics of the hospital all through my life, which I didn't really care about. But in retrospect, now I'm older, I really see the politics of healthcare and how it's evolving. And I really was just into helping people. I just want to be like there to help serve, to lift people up. And but I really just didn't know. I didn't want to go into medicine because my dad was on call. He was just like exhausted all the time. It put him in a foul mood. A lot of MDs do not take care of themselves, and a lot of chiropractors don't take care of themselves because we're so afraid to ask somebody else, how's our health? And I think that's so critical. Like, you cannot be your own doctor. You have to humble yourself to get someone else to look at you. Well, I moved to Colorado, moved to Telluride, Colorado, had a snowboarding accident. And that sort of like caused some pain, which didn't go away. Eventually went to a chiropractor. And just the way he described it and palpated my spine, and he scoped me. He used that little thermography unit, scoped my neck. And he said, you have a subluxation in your neck, the bone's out of place, pinching on a nerve. And I'm like, well, I came in for a lower back pain. And he goes, okay, but this is where your subluxation is. And I had no problem with that because I had plenty of sports injuries growing up. And when he adjusted me, the lights just flipped, boom. And when I walked out of there, I was like, my life just changed. I don't know what just happened. And but honestly, I still wasn't sure because my parents were not for it. Like, they did not support going into chiropractic. And I literally said, universe, I got to meet more people in this profession. Well, I'm bartending at a hotel in Telluride, and 2 weeks later, Dr. Fred shows up with 60 other chiropractors. And his friend Dan Blossom comes up to the bar and just starts talking about universal intelligence and this force of nature that it sort of enters into the human and expresses itself through innate intelligence. And then when we connect to that through the adjustment, it lights these people up. And I'm just fascinated by this story. And I just had this sort of the experience. And so Fred invited me to come to a seminar that night. And I went up there, and literally like just light bulbs just went off my head. And he talks about an old concept. It's an ancient philosophy called metanoia. And metanoia is that moment in time when your paradigm, metanoia, changes, and your entire outlook on life is different than it was before. And like from that moment on, I was like just that one night, like I was just into natural health. I'm gonna have a home birth. Not me gonna have a home birth, but I'm gonna find associates who are interested in that. And everything just lined up after that. He told me his son was starting chiropractic college as well, FJ Schofield, that summer. We started at the same time. Between the time I started and I met Dr. Fred, Bruce Lipton's book came out, and it literally just jumped out of the bookstore window, The Biology of Belief. And I know you interviewed him. What a power he is. Like he's like, for the mind, he's like the Einstein of our era. You know what I mean? Like, not fully accepted, but like it's going to be, and so I read Biology of Belief, which is, you have to read that book or learn about it. And started school with FJ Schofield in the summer of 2006.
Yeah, and 2009 onward. Tell us about what's been going on. You've been working raising a family out in North Carolina where you're from, and you got to practice out there, and things have been going awesome, right?
Yeah, things have been really good. Basically came back to my hometown, and it was during the recession. We're just kind of, everyone's trying to come out of the recession, and just try to beat the streets, walk down the street with a spinal column down Main Street with a spinal column in my hand, just smiling, talking and constantly doing screenings, grocery store cart, just anywhere I could get in front of people. It's funny, people are asking me like marketing advice. I was like, I don't know. If you're out there, I'm in front of you. And just trained basically with Fred along the way. And so kind of really learn from the lineage of chiropractic. So Dr. Vern Hagen, who you and I interviewed, and he knew BJ Palmer. And you might have heard of him. He just happens to have developed this whole thing. And so I think that lineage is so important in chiropractic. And whereas in martial arts, like if you want to, I don't do jujitsu, but what I hear is if you do, you want to do Gracie jujitsu. And there's like a lineage because you want to do it right, and you want it to be pure, and you want it to be effective. And I think that that's one thing so critical to maintain. And I think that you're really a part of it. I feel like you're really bridging part of your mission is like, you want to bridge this lineage of chiropractic to the next generation of chiropractors. So I feel like that's really helped my wife and I be successful in our practice.
Well, you got to understand, like the whole aspect of bridging this profession to a new lineage is about what we said at the opening. It's about protecting the sacred trust, and it's about protecting chiropractic and not parceling it off and selling it off and letting other people claim certain parts of its identity to become theirs. And I believe that that's the real transition point for us right now is chiropractic needs to retain its identity, number one. And marketing, like you said, you just have to be everywhere. You have to let people know who you are and your big why. Right. And I think that if you do that well enough, you create a fantastic lifestyle and career within the chiropractic profession. Absolutely. And you got to have good coaching too. And you have to have people that are willing to lift you up and to show you the way. So I think all that stuff is super cool that you're sharing with me. So let's talk about this marketing thing. If somebody was like to jump right in to practice, what would be like the top 2 or 3 things you would mention to them that they should do?
Well, just meet as many people as you possibly can. Like, even if you're uncomfortable, like get so comfortable with rejection that you like it. like I would go door to door, and literally like a year or 2 later, some old lady would show up and be like, "Remember when you came to my door, my dogs almost ate you?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do remember that." Like, just put yourself out there. Like, what are you holding back? Like, what do we protect when I don't want to say hello to that person, or I don't want to tell them I'm a chiropractor. Like, there's so much fear. And Fred Barge, who taught Dr. Fred, wrote a book. It's called Life Without Fear. And I think that there's so much amazing philosophical approach. And he distilled the green books. Like, who can actually read a green book? You know what I mean? Like, all the way through. Well, Fred Barge distilled that. And life without fear is when you know that you're in alignment with like this way of things natural and the study of things natural, which is what chiropractic is. You can kind of get into this flow state where you're not afraid of a virus coming to get you or somebody offending you. Like, you're living your truth, and like living in that authenticity is more satisfying than seeing 100 people plus a day or collecting over $50,000 a month. Like, that's all, you want that too, but you also want that sense of satisfaction and through like a life without fear. So I think that for marketing is like, read Life Without Fear, like, develop that internal strength, that internal wisdom, like that's beyond rejection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think marketing goes hand in hand with personal responsibility. Like, if you show up and you are what you are then it's going to transition to other people seeing that.
Yeah. Marketing has like it almost has like a negative connotation or context. And what I've realized, and I used to see people like, I actually had somebody call me and they were like, this old man was like, you better stop advertising on the website of the Mountaineer because he keeps showing up when I look up my friends who are dying in the obituary. I'm like, I'm advertising with a newspaper. I don't know where they're putting me online. When you go look online, my ad pops up just like the life insurance person. But what I've realized is marketing, and I've done less of it recently, but it's my responsibility to go out in the world and tell them what's up. Like, it's our responsibility to shine that light. And marketing is, part of it. I think the service that we provide is to share with people the truth. But the art of it is sharing it in such a way that you can meet them where they're at.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle. I agree with you. I think a lot of when people think about advertising, I learned this recently, is back in the day, soap operas were created to sell soap. I didn't know that, but they created these things for people to sit and watch, and at the commercial breaks, they'd sell them soap.
So it was really just an opera.
Yeah. So now today we have social media where you don't have to be social on it. You just have to be where people spend their time. And if you're in their news feed, eventually people will flick on it and then your ad will show to them. Sure. And that's the new, this is the new soap opera is what I'm saying. Yeah. Social media. We are the soap opera. We are the show.
Yeah. And that's why I think like you're so good at telling people to tell a story. Because I'm like a factoid guy and it will bore people to death. Like I'll get into the science of mitochondria and there's some people who are going to like it, but Tara, my wife, Dr. Tara, like she can go out there and just tell the story about something. And then people will literally just come in that week, bringing
they show up.
Yeah. They show up because they connected with the opera.
Yeah. Well, she's the avatar for that person. Right. And you have a certain person that's your avatar.
Right.
Somebody's going to be attracted to what you provided as a healer, and somebody's going to be absolutely attracted to what she does as a healer, because they're going to see that she's a mom, she's an entrepreneur, she's a wife, she has these identities that other people see.
Right.
And as you know, the women are the decision makers in the family for the family's health.
Yep.
So if you can start bridging the gap between the mom and then the kids and then the male, now you have a family that understands this chiropractic lifestyle. But it had to be started with the approval ratings of the mom that sees herself in Tara, that says, I'm coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an innate connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like a secret weapon. I mean, it's definitely been a huge blessing being married to a chiropractor, having somebody of like mind, surrounding yourself with like-minded people, masterminding people. I mean, you're even just watching your interview, I'm masterminding with people I would never meet. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's really important. But I mean, if you're just starting out, I would literally just go to the store. I would go wherever you eat and find out whatever local paper they have, whatever paper is everywhere, put a small ad in there. Wherever people gather, show up. Go to the Chamber of Commerce meetings, just spend a year just networking and planting seeds. What you sow, you shall reap.
Well, there's an old idea that if somebody just ate and you try to feed them a meal, they'll be like, no, I'm not hungry. But if you go to where there's a hungry audience or a hungry crowd and you provide something to help people with their hunger, now you're going to transition those people into fulfillment. Whereas before, if they're getting too much programming and it's not the chiropractic type programming that they're used to, and they're programmed out and they're silenced out and they're shifted out, now they're looking for something to fill them up. And that absence might just be the chiropractic story. It might just be the chiropractic message, because people are hungry for it, because they're starting to be full on the other narrative that isn't fulfilling to them anymore. So they're basically getting empty calories for their brain that aren't producing anything for them.
Yeah, totally. Like, we're information overweight and we're information undernourished. The amount of censorship that chiropractic has gone through, and now it's just busting at its seams. And even though people like the kids come in, the middle school kids watch their mom get adjusted and say, "Oh, I can do that. I saw that on YouTube." And then you're like, okay, well, what's the difference between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? Now, had the school taught them that, and had the school taught them what a thoracic vertebrae is, maybe they could do it. But the amount of censorship on how the body actually works, and where chiropractic has been acknowledging the nervous system and health for so many years from the beginning, and so far ahead of its time. And now medical science is catching up, and all the pro athletes are using the wearables to test their nervous system, when everybody who gets adjusted sleeps better and balances their HRV. Yet we're not really owning that originated with DD and BJ. So that's where I think the science of chiropractic can shine through more as a part of the story. It's just, it's an incredible thing.
Well, I said this earlier, Dr. Michael, if we don't own the ownership of the chiropractic science, philosophy, and art, and the messaging around that, other factions of the medical world will start to harvest that. Say, ooh, this chiropractic stuff could fit right into there. And it's just like a jigsaw puzzle for them. And they're like, ooh, this little chiropractic part can fit over here, and we'll put that in the pharmacy. Ooh, this little chiropractic part can go over there, and we'll put that into the orthopedic room. Or, hey, we'll give this to the PTs, because that's chiropractic too. But we're not going to give anybody, we're not going to credit the chiropractic profession, and we're not going to footnote the chiropractic profession. We're not going to cite the chiropractic profession, but we'll bullishly share what the philosophy that they stand on, and we're going to make that ours. So we have to know, like you said, stay in the lane, know your big why, but also know when somebody else stole your stuff. And they're not giving chiropractic credit for that stuff either.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how to really differentiate what I do from other, like the guy down the road, and God bless him. And I'm not saying people are happy of his medic-practic approach. And I almost think they should allow themselves to be called medic-practitioners. Like, no dissing. I'm just saying, okay, well, because you're teaching a totally different perspective. Now, you might be applying your hands on their back, but I know that based on my specific chiropractic analysis, when I x-ray you, like, I'm not guessing, is this going to help you? When I say this is going to help you, I know for almost 100% sure, let's call it 99% sure, this is going to help. Like, you can only get better when I correct this subluxation. Like, that's the only result that's going to happen. So I think that I want the community of the world to comprehend that that it's not the adjustment, really. It's the analysis. I'll give you a crap adjustment with a perfect analysis, and the crap adjustment is going to get longer lasting results than a great adjustment with a crappy analysis.
Well, I was just talking on the last interview, and I said that the adjustment's free. You pay for the chiropractic degree, you pay for the ability to locate and detect the subluxation. You pay for that. The adjustment's an extra something that comes with the chiropractor's certainty. And like you said, you could watch all the YouTube videos in the world. You could ask me to adjust you. I'd be like, I don't do that. I've watched more probably videos and technique than anybody else.
Yeah.
You don't want me adjusting you.
Yeah.
You don't.
Right.
I would make sure that I saw somebody that understood x-ray analysis,
Yeah.
the proper way to do intake on a patient to see what's going on, and then to, we call it delivering the goods. When you go see a chiropractor, if they don't deliver the goods.
Yeah.
You do.
You do. And there will be times when that happens. You know what I mean? There's no perfect science. I think the technology of chiropractic, the science is the techniques, and they call it practice. That's you practice. Physicians get it like physicians like get that leeway. Like, you know what I mean? We get the leeway of we're in practice. You don't say that about an insurance salesman, you know what I mean? Like, or you don't go to the store or a restaurant and be like, I know you're just practicing here. So we're fortunate, but I think that you got to bring in some objective analysis. Some people say, well, should chiropractors be able to practice like x-ray? My question is, should chiropractors be able to practice without x-ray? Or should medical doctors be allowed to x-ray? Like, they don't even know how to analyze subluxations, and pretending like they don't exist after me seeing it thousands of times, hundreds of times, they go to an MD, they get an x-ray, they say there's nothing, then I give them a complete x-ray analysis and they get better so often. I think x-ray science, chiropractic x-ray science is incredible. And, Pettibon and Harrison, I don't think get enough credit. People talk about cervical curves in their neck, but then they kind of like, oh, I don't care about chiropractic biophysics. I don't practice chiropractic biophysics, but I can tell you, I talk about principles that they defined for the world so that we can have a better overall concept of chiropractic.
Well, I think it's, if people are watching this, it's very analogous to going to a pharmaceutical doctor, because that's what the new MD is a pharmaceutical doctor, and having them do a blood panel analysis for you to see how to fix you with pharmaceuticals, rather than going to a functional medicine doctor that does a blood panel for you that looks on how they can improve you with the biology of eating and what to drink and what to supplement with without pharmaceutical. And they actually want to get you off those things.
Mhm.
So it all depends on who you ask how to fix something. If you ask somebody that's that builds houses, that specializes in foundation, how to fix a roof, they still work on the same house, but they follow a whole different paradigm of how to fix something. Like,
Right.
so
Right.
I think we just have to be very curious about who we're going to get our advice from on how to make our spine healthy, or how to make our biology, which is our blood, healthy.
And I believe in the freedom of healing arts. I just think that in our era of information, like, we're also in an era of censorship, and it's not. And so people aren't making informed choices. They're making what they're most sold to. Grant Cardone, who you also interviewed, which I think is great. So the consumer doesn't buy the best product. They buy the product they're most informed about. And so when people tell me, like, they used to be like, well, you do a lot of marketing. I go, you know who does more marketing than me? The hospital down the road. That's who markets the most. And they get this look and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, open the newspaper. The biggest ads are the hospitals. The biggest ads are the new medical doctors. So that's where marketing is really coming into that information marketplace and saying, you're not going to quieten us down. But we're running into an era where public health is being chiropractic's being relegated in a small portion of public health. And I think we need to really meditate and contemplate where we fit in public health. And Dr. Chestnut, like, this book, if they're not teaching this in chiropractic college, so the 14 foundational premises for the scientific and philosophic validation of chiropractic wellness paradigm, public health right there. So important.
I think you're spot on. I think that we have to be students of great text, but we also have to live the life. And I've seen you doing that for well over a decade now. Um, what are a couple of things that you're doing? I know we're coming up on the edge of our time together, but what are a couple of things that you're doing to take care of yourself? Well, it looks like Michael froze. I'll give him a quick minute to jump back on with us. If not, I'll go ahead and close out. He sent me a message and says the internet is delayed. So I know Michael pretty well. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and close out, but I will let you guys know if you want to know more about Michael Hogan. It's Blue Mountain Chiropractic. He's trying to join me again. All right. You're back.
I think they're trying to censor me.
Yeah, man. You said too much good stuff about chiropractic. So I was just getting to the edge of the interview with you, but I said, if there's a couple of things that you're doing for yourself to stay healthy during these times, what are they?
I think you have to have somebody that you find somebody to help you reflect. If you have goals, I had the same goal 4 years in a row. That was to get in the best shape of my life. And every year I would get a little bit more in shape. But last year I was able to reflect enough upon myself and say, ain't happening. Get a personal trainer. I've been personal training for a year now. I'm in better shape than I've been in my whole life. So what's it going to take for you to just wake up, quit lying to yourself, and make a change? I mean, the chiropractic paradigm gives everything to you. How are your thoughts? How are your physical traumas? Like, are you taking care of your physical fitness? How's your nutrition? Or are you toxic? Pick those and like work on it and work on all three of them. I got another book here I want to show you if I can find it. This book right here, The Way of the Rhino, little plug for Fred Schofield. It really goes into like mastering your physiology from a neurological perspective. Like, I've been working on my sleep for 2 years. It took me like 2 years to normalize my sleep. Like when the sun comes up, it needs to hit your eyes. When the sun hits your eyes, cortisol peaks. Delay your coffee, have water and lemon. Go outside, get fresh air. Wim Hof is, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful healing modalities. The way it helps your body process carbon dioxide better, and the better like helps calm your nervous system down as well. Cold dipping once a week in the rivers. Some people do cold showers. Get a personal trainer. Like for 12 weeks, just do it for 6 or 12 weeks and just have someone whoop you. Unless, you're doing a program where you've got that mental toughness. A lot of people just don't. Find a chiropractor that's going to treat you like a patient. Most chiropractors get like crap care. They just get a crack here or there. They're not really getting like the same quality care they're giving. I personally, I've been taking chlorella and spirulina forever. My body, and I think a lot of bodies respond to chlorophyll. It's an antioxidant. We breathe in the air from the plants. We eat plant nutrients. I do a product called Purium. It's a green drink. It's a super green drink. It's a meal replacement. I get like a little buzz off it. I just feel good. So
So what you're saying is you got to take care of thoughts, traumas, toxins, practice the chiropractic lifestyle, and stay fit.
Yeah, auto suggestion is so huge. Dr. Fred, he was all about this book called It Works, and in the auto suggestion, that even if you have a belief system that's different from what you're picking up on social media, it doesn't matter unless you're doing affirmations or reading or contemplating or meditating and programming your own mind. Because even if you disagree with something online, like you're still reacting to that, and that reaction creates an auto suggestion. So like D.D. Palmer's work on auto suggestion is so critical, the mindset for success. And I think that's the most important thing, waking up every day and repurposing, like whether it's reading goals or affirmations, you got to repurpose.
Powerful, brother. So powerful. We're at the edge of our time, man. If people want to learn more about you, and they want to jump on the Michael Hogan journey, where can we send them to?
So you can check me out on Michael Hogan DC on Facebook, Michael Hogan DC on Instagram, bluemtnchiro.com. And we're working on updating our website right now. Yeah, we try to post some cool videos, some commentary about what's going on. Just big picture ideas. Try to pattern interrupt the media narrative.
Well, I love it, man. Episode 352. Go to bluemtchiro.com. Check out Michael.
Blue Mountain.
MTN. bluemtnchiro.com to check out Michael Hogan and his awesome wife, Chiro Hogan. They're out there at Blue Mountain Chiropractic. Just want to say love and appreciate you, man. Thank you for spending some time with me on your Tuesday.
Love you too, bro. Great to see you again.
Awesome, man. Look forward to seeing you soon, and have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.